afternoon, students. Welcome to another class of government today. I still remain your teacher, Ms. Perpetua Apollo, and I'll be taking you government for senior secondary. Now, our topic today is government. We'll get to find out the meaning of government and the systems of government. Now, what is government? Government can be defined as a group of people that enforce the law in a given state or country. I'll repeat that. Government can be defined as a group of people that makes and enforce law in a given state or country. Now we have different functions of government. In as much as government enforce law and make laws, they have other functions also, not just by enforcing law or making laws. The first one is they provide jobs. Now in our society, you see the youth, when there's no job, you say, the government are bad, the government is why, because it's the government's responsibility to create jobs for our citizens. So that's the first function of government. Provision of what? Jobs. They provide jobs. Number two, administrative duties. Now the government runs the country. They run the state. They take care of everything that goes on in the country. That's what the administrative duties. They give out duties, obligations to citizens to carry out. We also have provision of infrastructure, such as good hospitals, good roads. Now it's the government's responsibility to provide such hospitals, road, etc. That's why you see people saying, if the road is bad, they want to blame the government because it's their duty, it's their function to provide infrastructure. Number three, maintenance of law and order. As we all know from our previous class, we have laws, the rule of law. Now it's the government's duty to maintain these laws. If not, when someone commits an offense, if he or she is not punished, the law will not take its hold. So it's the government's duty to maintain law and order in our society. The fourth one is defense of the nation. Now, if you leave a nation defenseless, other countries will come into that country and take over the country. Now, it's the government's duty to make sure that as a country, Nigeria, our borders, our neighboring countries do not come into our country and take over. So you see, the government is responsible for what? For defending the nation. We also have number 6 as administer justice. That's the judicial part of government. And the ones that administer justice. Once an offense is committed, they take you to where? To the court, where you have your judges, your lawyers. Okay. Now it's the government's responsibility to administer justice. The last but not the least, lawmaking. It's the government that makes law. According to our definition, they make what? They make and enforce law. So you see, the government makes law. I'll repeat the functions again. Number 1, they provide jobs. Number 2, they have administrative duties. Number 3, provision of infrastructure. Number 4, maintenance of law and order. Number 5, defend the nation. That's defense of the nation. Number 6, administer justice. Number 7, lawmaking. This is the definition of government and the functions of government. Now we also have systems of government. We have various systems of government, such as the federal system, unitary system, parliamentary system. Now, for today's class, we're taking just 2, which is the federal system and unitary system. Now, what is federal system of government? This is a system of government where power is shared among the tiers of government. The tiers of government are 2. Federal government and the state government. Now, any government that shares power between the federal government and the state government is called the federal system of government. Example is where Nigeria operates the federal system of government because they share power among the federal and the state government. Okay. Now we have characteristics of federal government. What are those things that makes up federal government system of government? How do you identify the federal system of government? That's the word. Characteristics or features. Number 1, the constitution is supreme, which means the laws are above everybody, like the rule of law. It's supreme. Nobody is above the law. Everybody is what? Under the law. That's the first one. The law is supreme. Number 2, written constitution. Now, when we get to that topic, we'll throw more light in it. Now, what is written constitution? It means the laws of the land are in written form. They are written down somewhere. Okay, so if you want to know a first law of government, their laws are written. They can always make reference to them because they are written down somewhere. And number 3, there is separation of power. Not only one arm has all the power. No, federal has power, state has power, even local government has power. That's the feature of the federal system of government because they separate power between the federal government, state government, and local government. You have number 4, power is shared between the two tiers of government, almost the same thing. That's the federal and the state. While local government is under the state. Then number 5, the constitution is rigid, which means if you want to amend such constitution, it's not easy. Go through procedures, go through different process. Unlike the flexible type that is easy to amend, no, this one is very difficult to amend because you have to seek permission from different bodies and different people. Then we also have advantages of federal system. What are the advantages? 1, the government is close to the people because that's different step. Federal government to state, state to local government. You see, the government is very much close to the people. Number 2, unity is easy to attain. The state government can easily come down and say, okay, let me go and see my people. Let me go to the local government. Let me go and find out what is happening. Why? Because they share the power. It's easy for them to reach out to the younger, to the grassroots and the people. Then number 3, even development. Like in Nigeria now, we have 36 states. If they are giving money to each of the states, so okay, this state repair your road or build hospitals, they'll give that same money to other states also. So you see, if they want to develop one state, develop all the states also. So that brings us to what? Even development. They don't focus on one and leave the others. No, they are constructing one, they are doing for the rest also. That's even development. And we have easy to run. Since the power is not with just one man, the president. No, the president has the powers, executive have power, judiciary have power, state governors have power also. So you see, it's easy to run because the delegated powers to different people in the society or in the country. Then you have number 5, nobody is left behind. Like I was saying, each governor fights for their state. So each governor will say, okay, my state needs this, my state, so they carry everybody along. Then once the governor has been reached out to, he in return will reach out to the local government chairman. And from there, it will get to the people. So everybody is carried along. In as much as this system of government has advantages, it also has disadvantages also. And what are they? Number 1, they're too costly to run. It's very expensive. If you want to run a federal system of government, you need to have enough money because you want to share money for all the states. You can't say, okay, I want to give one and leave one. No. So you need enough money to share for the 36 states. That's expensive, so you need lots of money. Then number 2, delay in decision making. If it was a one-man business, you can say, okay, I want this to happen, to just happen once. But since it's not a one-man's country, not one person's power, he has to seek people's opinion first. He has to put lots of things into consideration. And by so doing, decision making is delayed. Not in a very bad way, but it's a disadvantage since it's what? Since it's delayed. Then the next one, violence can easily be promoted. Now, that's true. Since people are many, people that want to make decisions are many, people that will oppose are many. So you see, violence can easily arise. Then we have number 4, conflict of interest between the state and the national government. Now, what's conflict of interest? I want rice, you want beans. Or I want aeroplane, you want land. So you see, what the federal government wants and what the state government wants can cause conflict at times. They don't not start thinking of what disadvantages, just like conflict of interest. Now, how can this arise? For example, the state wants a particular thing to be done and the federal government wants something different. Example now, in Delta State, 3 years back, the former Governor James Ibori, they wanted the state to control the resources, that's oil production and sales, but the federal government was against it. Okay, our topic still remain government. Here we learn about the meaning of government, which is government is a group of people that makes and enforce law in a given state or organization. Talks about the functions of government. Number 1, they provide jobs. Number 2, administrative duties. Number 3, provision of infrastructure. Number 4, maintenance of law and order. 5, defense of the nation. 6, administer justice. 7, lawmaking. Let's talk about the systems of government. Where the first one was the federal system. And this is a system of government where power is shared among the tiers of government, that is, the federal and the state government. Characteristics of federal government. The constitution is supreme. 2, written constitution. 3, separation of powers. 4, Power is shared between the tiers of government. 5. The constitution is rigid. The next one is advantages of federal system of government. 1. The government is close to the people. 2. Unity is easy to attain. 3. Even development. 4. Easy to run. 5. Nobody is left behind. Disadvantages of federal system of government. Number 1. Too costly to run. Number 2. Delay in decision making. Number 3. Violence can easily be promoted. Number 4. Conflict of interest between the state and the national government. Thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you revise your notes, and don't forget, have a nice day.